Ryan McCaffrey here with IGN. I'm joined by old developer friend Sean Krankel. You may remember him from Night School Studio and Oxenfree. He's at Netflix now. Studio was acquired several years back. And he's got a new game for Netflix. Don't stop the video. We're going to explain why this is actually a really cool game for gamers. I got to play the whole 30-minute thing just a few days ago and had to make a video with you, Sean, to tell everybody about this. First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Although when you said old developer, I hope you mean we're old, we're old colleagues, but not I'm an old man,
Yes.
even though I am an old man. It's true.
We're both clearly still in our 20s. Everything's fine.
Yes.
I just thought this was the best way to show everyone this game is not to like literally show it to them because they'll be able to play it soon enough on their Netflix, but to explain what the deal here is, because speaking personally, and I told you this, until I played Unhinged, that's the name of your studio's new game that's out on June 30th on Netflix, I had never bothered playing a Netflix game, ever. Like, I see them down there, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I have a PC and consoles. But what you guys have built is unique to the platform, and it is what I would consider a real game. Like, it's not just some, like, mobile, thing that I feel like maybe a lot of gamers, core gamers, might look at Netflix games and go, yeah, those aren't for me. So give us the quick top level thing. So it stars Zoë Kravitz, Sadie Sink, and our old friend Troy Baker. You got some star power going on here. It's a first person, let's call it a psychological horror game. I think that's probably fair to say. And so just, take us through the top level and then we'll get into some details.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did a great job encapsulating a lot of the core sort of ingredients. For us, we, as Night School, as an internal studio at Netflix, we have wanted to push what the platform can do in interesting and new ways. And so the game was actually born from the idea of how can you make your phone be a great controller for a game that's played up on TV? And we wanted to make sure that everything felt extremely bespoke to that could feel magical to that, and that would not feel like I wish I was playing this with a standard controller and keyboard and mouse. And so we sort of, it reminded me of going back to our roots when we started with Oxenfree. We went, how do we, on that title, merge a player fantasy with a set of mechanics? And on this one, our player fantasy was, how can we do a horror title or an immersive sort of thriller that isn't for folks who want to necessarily learn how to reload tons of weapons and do resource management and get their butts kicked over and over and over again, but rather something that is very, I think, accessible at a mechanics level, but still very heightened and crazy and over the top as a horror experience. And so you play as a character, Ava, who wakes up in the middle of a Cat 5 hurricane. You've got your friend across the street who sort of rear window style is communicating with you, talking through the window over the phone. And your phone, in your real life, your phone works like your phone would, inside of this game. And so when you get a phone call from your friend, your phone rings, and when you decide to walk over to the window to see if she's okay, you turn your flashlight on your phone and you peer through first-person space and move through the darkness and look through the storm. Your flashlight is kind of looking out there, and we just wanted to feel like this magical, easy to understand set of mechanics, and then right after that, the stuff hits the fan and things escalate.
And the setup's super simple. All you do to play is you just launch the game on Netflix and then you scan a QR code with your actual phone, right? That's the long and the short of it.
Yes. Yeah. So imagine, you're going to see this just show up on your Netflix embedded around series, films, etc. And instead of having all of the very esoteric, gamey, let's calibrate this and let's align that, we want it to be dead simple. So we see an establishing shot of a crazy storm outside. We push into the middle of Ava, the lead character's apartment. We see a phone ringing with frantic messages coming from your friend across the street, and it just says, scan to pick up the phone. And then it just works. It all just kind of works from there.
So how did you rewire your game designer brain? Like this seems like it was probably a new challenge, right? Having to almost deprogram yourself from thinking like a core gamer.
100%. That point that I was talking about earlier, I think, is so key because we want this to be palatable to people who love horror and thriller films and series, and that they're showing up for that. And so the same way that, you know, if you go to Disneyland and ride a ride, or if you go to an escape room, you don't have to show up with this extreme depth of knowledge. You don't have to have a PhD in the 10 titles that came before and learn how those systems build on top of each other. And so it was a very fun challenge to go, how can we elegantly let you do the actions that a gamer is used to, that we're used to playing with, but in a way that doesn't require being taught. And honestly, the flashlight and using the accelerometer to look around and move through 3D space was such a great, easy shorthand, because where you look is where you want to go. And because light is so critical in this game, we were able to sort of to lean into that, and then just be very subtractive, like remove UI elements. You remove all the things that make you feel like you're in a game, and now we want you to feel more like you're just thrust into this crazy situation.
It took me about 30 minutes to get through it. You told me it would probably be 20 to 40 when I sat down. Are there fail states? Are there multiple endings? Like, sort of what are my options here when I run through this? Is it kind of a one and done, or is it are there reasons to go back?
There's definitely reasons to go back. It is not a majorly branchy title, but I will say it is one that the way you can push and pull at the edges of the game relate less to, oh, here's 3 or 4 dialogue choices, and more about where you go and when, or when you get a phone call and you're getting it right when the killer who's after you is coming in the room, and you hang up and you go, stop texting me right now. Like, that kind of interplay of what would you do in the moment is what pushes and pulls at where, you know, the edges of this thing are. And so to your question of can you die, you can absolutely die. You can die some extremely gruesome deaths, which I think you avoided all of them.
I came very, very, very close, but managed to not die at all.
Yes, so you can die. There is skill. There is definitely a degree of like finding that balance of when does it become frustrating to players versus what is the right amount of stress. But, you know, we haven't even talked much about where the story goes, and I don't want to, because I don't want to too much, because it can get quite spoilery. But I will just say, as you saw, it escalates. By the end of it, there are definitely a few different endings, but I also don't want to overstate this. It's not a game about there's 50 different endings. It's much more, there's a ride we wanted to take you on, you know, and so it's very intentional in how it's paced.
Having now had the privilege of playing through it, the 30-minute theme park ride is probably the best analogy that you've already given that. But so talk to me about casting this thing, because I guess we'd call it a new IP. That's that's what everybody likes to hear, is new IP. But you've got some star power going on. I mean, Troy Baker we all know from lots and lots of video games, but Zoë Kravitz, Sadie Sink, these are two very big names. What was the process in sort of getting them on board for this? Because it is kind of a new thing, right? It's like, it's not a Netflix show,
right?
But it's also not your typical, you know, Netflix game. It is something newer and certainly, in my opinion, more interesting. So how did you get those two on board?
I'll start with Troy really quick, because this is actually the first thing I've ever done with Troy, and felt so grateful to. Yeah, I mean, he was, all three were absolutely incredible. But like, I would say, backing up to your point of, this is not a show necessarily. It's not a game in a traditional sense, but it merges both. And when you talk about terms like transmedia or merging these things, they can either fall very flat, like industry buzzword stuff, or they can be, we're authentically trying something new. And I think, you know, we are really trying to do the latter there. Like, this is not just for buzzwords sake. It's much more that now that we have on Netflix the ability to interact with story in a new way, and that discoverability is not a problem or less of a problem, and that you can just snap and be involved in this thing, that just resonated with the cast. And so as we talked to, you know, both Zoe and Sadie, I mean, they're obviously mega pros, but the way they showed up for this, and you've seen what they go through in this, they really go places in it. We were very, very grateful for that.
So talk to me a little bit about testing this with non-gamers. I guess it ties a little bit back into that deprogramming your core game designer brain from earlier, but what did you learn from playtesting this with total non-gamers in your life, and like focus testers that would come in, those kind of folks?
The folks that were the most, you know, the most telling were the ones that want to show up and go, okay, I am choosing not to watch a movie or a show for this. It's really that. It's not just how do we woo them in the door. We're trying to actually make them go, I'd rather, instead of watching a movie, play this. And so making it frictionless, number one, was key. And then number two, and we talked about this a bit the other day, like making it feel magical. And that was the one that I think landed it. So the first time you get a phone call from your friend, we have had at least, I kid you not, 1 in 3 people on the playtesting front would go, oh, they hand the phone to the person in the room with them and they go, oh, you're getting a call. Like, do we have to pause it? And we're like, that's for you. The call is for you. And so when it works that way and feels like a magic trick, which I genuinely think the game feels like a magic trick as you play through it, that's what we wanted to lean more into. And so peeling away the layers of difficulty, although you can die, and leaning into how can you make this feel magical is really what we wanted to do.
So Netflix, like any other big media company, loves its intellectual property, and you've built something that I think is super cool here. So is this going to turn into a Zoë Kravitz, Sadie Sink Netflix show? Are we going to do another game? Like, are you thinking about this that way? Or is this sort of, are you thinking about it as kind of a one and done, or maybe take the technology, the design, and apply it to something else? Like, what are you thinking about next?
The crazy thing that's going to sound like a cop-out, but it is not, is the answer is yes and to sort of all of that, right? Like if this thing resonates the way that we hope and believe that it does, there's ways to both add new versions of it, because again, now that you've played it, you could see how we could add new ones to it. There's ways to translate this into a film or a series. And we're kind of paralleling looking into all of that. But the last one that you said about how do we build on the technology and the design and the pipelines that we did, that's no matter what a given. Like we really, I think like just at a product design level, we've broken so much new ground on how to use this thing as an accelerometer based navigation tool, how to use all the cool little gimmicks that make the phone work like a phone, the flashlight work. So we will likely continue to build on that. But the shape of this, I could only hope for this to turn into a film or a series, or for us to do additional ones. But we kind of don't know yet. We don't know what we're going to do yet.
So it's out June 30th on Netflix. Give core gamers your sort of one sentence, like final pitch to get them to scroll down on their Netflix and choose this rather than the next episode of whatever show they're watching.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really appreciate how you teed it up, because it is a game. Like, it is absolutely a game, and one that really goes places and is hardcore. I feel like we didn't pull punches in this story, which I know we didn't talk about much here, but like we want to hit you in a way that the things you see and interact with are exciting and crazy, and it's a thriller, and that even in that short timeline, this thing has a story. It has heart, and it has a bunch of twists, and the ending is pretty wild. So play it also just because it's so darn easy. Like, you literally just take your phone out. If you have a phone, play it. And Netflix, of course. The
game's not easy. Playing it is easy, right?
Yes.
That's the difference.
If you are a horror fan, and I mean that from a game sense, we are not competing with RE9, but boy, do we love and take cues from things like what happened in an RE9 or a Silent Hill, etc. So we would love to be talked about in the same conversation with them. And the barrier to entry is so low, being a sub 1 hour game, that I think it's exciting, and I can't wait to see people talk about it online, because it goes places, like we said.
It's called Unhinged from Night School Studio. It's out June 30th on Netflix. Sean Krankel, thank you so much. Congrats to you and the team. This is, like I said, you got me to play my first Netflix game, and I genuinely had an awesome time with it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That means the world. Seriously.